Yo, what up guys, Beside here with a champion guide for Jizoh, an old champion who you can obtain for free in Raid Shadow Legends. You can find it in the Lizardman faction, which new players often get or usually get when they hit a particular level from fighting the campaigns in the early game. So he's not that popular in Raid Shadow Legends. It's actually recommended to newer players that they do not spend their resources or their time and energy on this champion, because at that point they're trying to get their first 5-star champion or their first starter champions to 60 so they can comfortably do the campaign. That's the main reason why he's usually ignored in the early game, because you're trying to get that AoE damage dealer to 60, so you do not have resources to begin to put on this champion. But one thing is good at in the early game, one thing that people use him for is at level 4 take him to 40 and use him as in faction wars to help you get that early game glyphs, those 1-star glyphs that you need to boost your stat a little bit. That's the only thing I've seen him being used in the early game. There are some players who did not know they are not supposed to focus on him and instead put resources to him getting to 50, and he kind of helps them through that first time you're trying to beat the minnow. So those are the only things I can think of. So knowing fully well that end game players do not use this champion, this guide is going to be focused on newer players who are just obtaining him, coming into the raid, and show you maybe how you can use him. So I'm trying to build him in an early game sort of build, because he does not deserve any spot in my early game, in my end game team. So what's so bad about this champion is A1 just hits 2 times, that's it, that's the end of the story. It does nothing. His damage is based on defense, so this champion can be stacked with high defense and he will do damage. That means he does not benefit from attack stats at all. All right, I'll show you 2 ways to build this champion. And then Fierce Protector in this A2 skill does not hit. Instead, he places a shield on himself for 3 turns. That's a shield for 3 turns. This shield is based on his defense. The value of the shield is proportional to this champion's defense. That means you want his defense to be high. If you're not building defense for high damage, you want high defense for high shield. That's 2 ways to build him. Then it also places a counter attack for 2 turns on one ally. Now it doesn't say it's going to place it on no, it places a shield and a counter attack on for that ally. So you can just choose somebody on your team and place that shield or counter attack on them. It grants an extra turn. So if he does this, he will give himself an extra turn. So you want to start the battle most of the time with this skill, which is just shield somebody, maybe your damage dealer who is squishy, and give them a counter attack. So that's right, places a shield buff for 3 turns and a counter attack buff for 2 turns on one ally. We'll see it happen in battle, but most likely you put it on the champion on your team with the highest damage, who might go down. He might not be the best candidate to put this counter attack and this shield from. Why? Because his A1 literally does nothing important, right? All right, for the A3, this champion will also do a single and target hit, has a 80% chance of placing provoke. When you spend books, epic skill tomes on this champion, which is not worth it for the early game, you want to focus on other champions you're going to use for the clan boss and dungeons who will deserve your epic skill tomes. This is not where you should be spending your skill tomes. So but if you do finally put skill tomes on him, maybe for faction war purposes, this skill will be 100% chance of placing provoke on one person. Why am I so talking about this? Is because we have champions in Raid Shadow Legends, epic champions who can play provoke, even if it's not for one target, at least for 3 random enemies, right? So you want those AoE provoke than single target provokes. The only place where I can think of where single target provoke helps you is against the Magma Dragon, who you need to provoke consistently for Doom Tower. I mean for is it Doom Tower? Yeah, Doom Tower. And also for the Hydra, just that one head that needs to be provoked consistently. And check out, this provoke is on a 4-turn cooldown. So when you use it once, you have to wait an entire 4 turns to use it again when you spend skill tomes on it. That's why it's not that great. You usually want provokers who have a 3-turn cooldown on places where you need provoke, so it can be used often or maybe in the next wave or something. So that's what makes it so bad. It does have a continuous heal though on this champion for 2 turns. Again, maybe just do a comparison. Somebody like a Jarek, right, who does have also a continuous heal. Where is Jarek? He's from this Lizardman, right? A champion that I still do not own. Where is his own? Continuous heal for 1, continuous heal buff on an ally for 1 turn whenever so basically when you talk of continuous heal, it's also not a reason to use Jizoh. So But it heals him though. He helps him stay alive longer, or whoever is getting those hits from this counter attack makes them stay alive longer. He does have an increased attack in all battles by 18%, which makes no sense to his kit. So even if I say I want to run this champion like a solo champion or using for that type of content, being 18% increased attack when your damage is based on defense makes no sense. So his kit is all over the place. Maybe he's going to be increased attack in all battles for the other allies while his damage is based on defense. Makes no sense. Usually you want to pair defensive based champions, defensive nukers like this, with defensive other defense champions. Somebody with increased defense, some like a sepulchre sentinel. You know, those are the type of ways you want to build your team. Defense goes with defense, not defense attack. What are you doing? Not an arbiter doing increased attack with a champion who has defense based nuking. So that's why this aura also makes no sense for his kit. All right, let me show you how I build this champion. Again, I'll stress that this is just because they did an Call of Arbiter episode about him. That's why I was like, let me just talk about this champion since he's not very popular in raid, and I want to know why he's not so popular. And looking at his kit right now, you can already tell. So maybe I'm coming into this champion guy with a negative mindset, but this is not a champion I will normally build. I just had to put it out for you guys so you can know what's up with him. I've not taken his stats to the maximum, but let me do that real quick so we can really have a full potential and not shortchange him or anything. All right, this is the stats I put on him, or the artifacts I put on him. Stressing again that this is just for early game players who are coming in. Lifesteal is easily obtaining either for the campaign or for the dragon. When you go those spare lifesteal pieces, you can put it on this champion because maybe that will help him stay alive longer. But I couldn't think of protection sets, savage sets. I don't want to think of any other sets to put on this champion. I just wanted to slap in an early game set which is easily obtainable, and lifesteal came to mind. Because with this, when you're trying to beat that normal, hard, or even brutal clan boss, he can be one of the champions you just slot into the clan boss, because at that point you have no choices. You only have your starter champions, your war maiden, or a few champions. So at that point, every champion you get in the game will be used in content, but be careful not to focus on all of them at the same time. He's just maybe for faction wars. This build is awesome for faction wars, because at that time almost every champion for faction war needs accuracy. Needs lifesteal to sustain if you don't have healers at that point or revivers. So let's see what I put on him. Lifesteal, since his damage is based on defense, I did give him a defensive what do you call this thing now, chest, and also a defensive ring. I did go crit damage on the amulet and crit damage on the glove like we would normally do for any damage dealer. So yes, I actually want to test out how many damage he's gonna do. So he's gonna reach out to crit 100% crit rate on this account, because I did put crit rate and a little bit of resistance and accuracy. So he's gonna be landing his provoke. This type of build is saying give him everything he needs. First thing is accuracy, next thing is defense, crit rate and crit damage if you want to build for the damage. And of course, I said the second build for this champion does not need crit rate or crit damage. It just goes full defense, full resistance, full HP. So he becomes more of a debuffer than and a tank than anything else. So but right here for total stats, I was able to get up to 38k HP, 4k defense, 4.2 defense right here. 209 speed, anything at 150 to 200 is fine in that early game stages, and of course 99% crit rate, and my crit damage looking nice, almost at 250 crit damage right here. For the resistance and accuracy, this is going to be more than enough for content like the level 20 content dungeons all the way to level 25 dungeons. I hope I'm going to test this champion out in the spider, because according to the Call of Arbiter episode, he climbed up to the spider's legs and all that and hit the spider's head, split the head with his weapon, right? So I want to see if it's actually useful. I don't expect that run to be anything special. It's probably going to be a failed run, but I will use with starter champions or early game rare champions like athel that we saw in that episode, just to recreate that episode and see whether they were right in their lore to say that this champion, since he was in the sewer, he fought against the spider. So we'll see that. I don't have a galek built on this account though, so I might put in ultimate galek instead, which is his cousin, right? All right, so that's my total stats on this champion right here, and resistance and HP. Enough for those early game content also. And then for the masteries, I did go your standard PvE masteries. This is not a PvP champion, although some people will slot him into that early game. Like for this build now, if you put him into your 3v3 arena, or even I wouldn't recommend for 1v1 arena, but when that 3v3 arena where you don't have enough teams to put in every slot, he comes in there. And this is also not required. Masteries is not required on this champion. I just didn't want to put out a guide and not put masteries on him, so it's not gonna be like a half guide. So that's why I did farm masteries on this champion to get him this basic what do you call this thing, PvE masteries, coming in right down here to War Master as usual, as you do with somebody who wants to do damage. For your second type of build, where you go high defense, high resistance, you go towards the defense or resistance, depending on whether you want to build it for end game Hydra for some weird reason, like I saw some people doing, and of course going more resistance right here, or he becomes the champion who is taking all the damage from other allies, a little bit like a tank will do. So I did go this way if you want him to be extended duration of those buffs he's casting, the shield and maybe the counter attack also. So that's the only reason why I went this way. He will not benefit anything from this Master Hexa and also from this sniper at all. But right here, accuracy is the way to go. If you're going to be using him, of course he's going to be fighting against wave. He does have the opportunity to decrease the attack meter a little bit when he hits them first. Basic PvE champion masteries, nothing special. It's time for us to test this champion in the first content, which I said it was going to be the spider. Remember, I'm not trying anything special about him, but since it's a newer player guide, you're asked if this champion is even good for campaign. Hell no. Your starter champion will always be better than him for campaign, but just for fun, let's test him out in this campaign to see how long he clears it. Being a single target champion is going to take us a long time, which I'm probably going to end the battle before we even get to the end. But let's see how long it takes him to clear the first wave. 54k. He grants an extra turn when he does that counter attack, and when he's get hit right now, counter attack A1 again, 22k on the A1. So the A3, that is what he started the battle with. No counter attack yet. So he does do damage, I guess. That extra turn comes in handy though. Now, if you're kind of an endgame player who is using this champion, of course, lifesteal will not be the best way to go. You probably want to go with something like a regen set. So whether he hits or not, he gets some healing for himself. So he's critting since he's 90%. So that's a 40-second campaign run. Your what do you call it, athel, kill, galek will do it better than this in this same build. So that's something to know. AoE is the best way to go. Heat doesn't belong. If you're too weak in your starter champion area, they're level 50, he can pair along, I guess, and put some counter attack out there or some shielding on them. And despite the 4,200 defense I had on him, that shield is not looking fat. It's not looking fat compared to other champions who do shielding in raid. That shield is not looking impressive at all. Why am I thinking of miscreated monster shield? They are not in the same category. All right, let's head over to the spider, because this is a meme guide, I guess, and let's see. Definitely not spider hard then. Is normal level 20, or do we try 10 first? Because remember, AoE hit is what this champion used. Since this is an early game build, you want to come in here with champions who can do AoE damage to the spider, right? So I'll use beginner champions like the Arbiter, Call of Arbiter episode did. And yeah, this is a meme guide, guys. Nothing serious. If I wanted to test him in endgame out content, it will seem like I'm promoting endgame players to build this champion. Totally not, because I couldn't think of one way to use him in my endgame. Not even Hydra. There he is. Athel. I don't have galek build, so I said I'll bring in ultimate galek. Hopefully my ultimate galek doesn't outshine him though. There he is. So let's just go. Athel is probably gonna nuke this entire wave, according to the Call of Arbiter episode. Come on, don't kill them too fast. Come on, let's this guy get some fun. All right, let's see, because he killed the spider, right? Let's see what he does against the spider. He go in with his A3. No, he protected galek, ultimate galek, and 49k. Is that how you kill the spider in the Call of Arbiter episode? Man, this is a joke. Jizoh is a joke still. One day he will get buffed though, because for him to be getting a highlight in the Call of Arbiter and his lore and everything being put in place, and then the new champion that came out that seems is gonna be gonna meet again or something according to the episode. It seems like he's gonna get some spotlight in the future. I just don't see this champion being used. But for a real test, let's head over to the Dragon 20 and actually put together an actual team that will see if we can take down the Dragon at a reasonable time, and see if Jizoh can play a part in that at all, because that's gonna be a real test of damage right here if I put this team together. Sorry, I didn't do it before the video. If I can find Jizoh, because I didn't intend to use him in this content. I just wanted to show him off in the spider and end the run. But let's go with a normal nuking team, increase attack, so I need more attack. Who do I put in here? Just any damage dealer works, I guess. And poison, where is my frozen banshee? Does she even still have artifact? Most of this champion has been stripped of their gear, so I don't know how it's gonna work, but let's see. So I'm just slapping in any champions right here that I have built. So he's not bringing anything special to this dragon team besides that shield for one person. Probably the weakest champion is gonna be shielded. He's not bringing any special debuff. Where is the provoke? I'm yet to see the provoke in action though. With 200 speed and these high stats and high crit damage, 16k, 15k damage, with decreased defense out there already, my royal guard is always gonna be better. So maybe I just do these builds to show you why you should not build Jizoh. Maybe that's the provoke we've been looking for. So apothecary doesn't have any ideas of healing or anything. That's the provoke. Again, single target provoke is nothing. This champion needs to be buffed basically to catch up with the time, because a champion that has been in the game since from the beginning, and now a lot of things has changed. He's not getting any better in any content. I wanted to use him in a regent set and show him how he can solo content. Yes, I wanted to do that. Of course, you can solo content. Anybody, almost anybody in a regent set can do it, even if they are not AoE damage dealers. With single target hit and his extra turn, of course they can do it. But that's not a reason to build Jizoh. So that's this showcase right here, showing him build fully in early game gear or end game starts with early game sets, but still not impressive in my account at all. Even if I compare him with the best champions, with the best, I have somebody. If I need counter attack, you have AoE counter attack. I have a skull crusher. If I need provoker, and I have a Vogot. 3 targets can be provoked with a Vogot. If I need a shield, even my shield set Vogot, or somebody else who does shield like Lodric Falconheart. Now I'm giving you options right here that is awesome. But like I said, this build is only useful for one thing: faction wars, Lizardman faction wars. And guess what? Razen is just leading that faction wars to get a Razen, and that faction is kind of easier to do when you get the right stats and the right champions. He was not one of the champions that helped me beat faction wars for Lizardman, no. So that's my champion guide for Jizoh, and that's the reason why a lot of people are not building him in raid, because his skill sets, while they are useful in that early game content where you're trying to get your first level 60 champions, once you do get your level 60 champions and you get other champions better, he just get benched, because you're trying to looking for AoE damage, AoE decrease defense, AoE provoke, AoE counter attack. Like, you're looking for all that content, and he doesn't bring that to this team. Hopefully raid will finally eventually buff this champion off, so newer players obtaining him will kind of use him, or he might begin to be a little bit useful. For blessings, I'm not even put this champion in my wish list, so if I have a blessing for him, it probably be something that has to do with decreases defense of the enemy, which is this one, right? Cruelty, because maybe for clan boss or against bosses, probably. All right, let me know what you think about Jizoh. Did you build him in the early game, or is still staying at level 4-star in your account? He's also kind of taking a break I wouldn't say it's the same champion or the same level like this champion. What's her name now that we get in the early game also? Is it Secret Order or is it High Elves? No, she's Barbarian. He's kind of going in the same boat as she is, because a lot of people are choosing not to build high cartoon. You know, that early game you're like, I have a apothecary, I have high cartoon. So he has no competition. There is no question of whether I should build him or not. People just go, no, don't build him. Just like people argue whether they want high cartoon 60 or leave her at 50. He deserves to be 50 maybe on your account for that faction wars and not 60 at all. That's what I think. Let me know what you think about Jizoh in the comments below. I love to see opposing opinion of all the time about how you use him in your account and how he has helped you in the end game or in the early game or mid game, so I can maybe repurpose this one for something else. For now, he's just gonna be a champion that is holding on to good gear on that account, good lifesteal gear. All right, help me hit like in this video right now, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe also for more daily raid Shadow Legends content, and comment below the next champion you want me to see or do a guide about that people don't like to build. I would prefer to do a guide about the champion that people use though, not this one. Later guys.